Turning to the war in Ukraine and a grim milestone, it has now been 1,000 days since Russia invaded its neighbor in February 2022. As the human toll continues to mount, there's an ominous development. Moscow is lowering its threshold for using nuclear weapons. CBN's George Thomas reports.
In a makeshift maternity ward in the basement of this hospital in the Kherson region, Rosa Antonova cradles her newborn baby Amelia tightly.
All the plans we had before the war, we decided that there's probably no time to postpone anything for later. We had to live for now. Despite the fact that the war continues, and despite the consequences in the city and in Ukraine in general, we try to hold on.
For her and for people across Ukraine, today's milestone is another sad reminder of how 1,000 days of fighting have led to immense human suffering, with millions of lives disrupted, cities in ruins, and the toll of military casualties growing daily.
Every day we live in Ukraine is a miracle.
In Kyiv, a memorial has sprung up in the heart of the city, dotted with Ukrainian flags, each honoring a soldier who died fighting Russia. Svetlana Kirichenko came to place a flag to remember her fallen son.
I put the flag so that someone would pass by and see that this person lived once, gave his life for all of us.
Despite heavy losses, Ukraine has continued to fight in the face of escalating Russian attacks. With 2 months left in office, the Biden administration is now helping Ukrainians take their fight directly to the Russians. The White House has allowed Ukraine to use American-supplied long-range Army tactical missile systems.
This would be the first time they've been used to target inside Russia, and significantly inside Russia.
The missiles will be deployed in the Kursk region, where Ukrainian troops are facing Russian and North Korean forces.
It's limited to Kursk, and it's limited, of course, to the amount of missiles that we can get to Ukraine in the near future. So it is a substantial step, but it might not change the battlefield that much.
The Kremlin is warning that deploying long-range missiles is only adding fuel to the fire. Russia's president updated his country's nuclear doctrine today, saying that he has the right to use nuclear weapons if attacked with conventional missiles by a country backed by a nuclear-armed nation. George Thomas, CBN News.
Thanks, George. And adding to that, Gordon, Moscow claims Ukraine fired those long-range missiles for the first time today and that it shot down 5 and damaged 1.
Well, I say the escalation in this is entirely on the Russian side. They're the ones who invaded. They're the ones that decided to use rape as a weapon of war. They're the ones who targeted civilian facilities, hospitals, schools. They targeted power plants. They targeted water supplies. They targeted food supplies. They're the ones enforcing embargoes at the port. All of that is on their side. What did they expect Ukraine to do? Just sit there and take it? Of course they have the right of self-defense. And of course, in that right of self-defense, you get to go right at the heart of the enemy. And to use a nuclear option in the face of that, why not use peace as an option? Why not say, we're done here. Let's withdraw to our borders in Ukraine. Sorry for the intrusion, but we want peace now. How about that? And if we can have that, then we can avoid a much larger conflict. Here's something to keep in mind. In the 1,000 days of this war, Putin threatened Romania. He said, we'll see you in Bucharest. That was his next goal after Ukraine. Is Poland on that list? Both Romania and Poland are part of NATO, and he's directly threatening them. And Romania has no army. It's not like Ukraine. They don't have the ability to defend themselves at all. And so his threat that once, Kyiv falls, his next stop is Bucharest. We should wake up and take these things very seriously. When he speaks, does he really mean that? And if he does, what's our response? I've been arguing for a long time that we ought to allow Ukraine to strike into the heart of Russia, to show every Russian exactly what's going on in Ukraine, and do it very effectively and very immediately. The level of propaganda within Russia is truly unbelievable. The citizens there somehow think that they're fighting Nazis and that their war is justified and it's a just war. All of these things. These are times, very perilous times for the entire world. And whether it's threats from Iran against Israel, what's happening with Hamas and Hezbollah, threats against Taiwan by China, where the president of China says to his army, prepare for an invasion by 2027. 1,000 days of war in Ukraine that could threaten all of Europe. These are days to pray because the wars and the rumors of wars are here.